A mechanism for control? What's going on? I feel a certain way. It's because I need to eat. I'm making something that doesn't need to exist right now. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings and hello. I feel a little bit nonplussed right now, and I'm just kind of gonna go for that because that's stuff that I like talking about, and I'm trying to be more honest and plain and open on this channel. So I'm gonna hold on to all the footage I just recorded for probably about 30 minutes or so, trying to start a new project. I wasn't taking it in the right direction. I got that feeling I get sometimes when something's not right, and it's time to just kind of move on to something different. My earliest, all I can think of right now of that feeling is I was about to make something my heart wasn't in because it doesn't need to exist. I just wanted to make a video, so I thought I would try out something different, which didn't pan out, and I realized I'm just making something that I don't have my heart in. And there's other things that do have my heart, hanging out with family, and I was hearing them upstairs, and it's just time to go be with my family instead of down here trying to work on something for the sake of working on something. I can still do that in small ways. I don't need to work on a giant thing for the sake of practicing a giant thing. I can just work in small ways. So that's what I'm trying to do right now, is not think too hard about what's going on. I'm just going to talk a little bit and then show you something that's kind of strange. I want to address a comment that I received recently, I think, where someone described my behavior as maybe a little bit manic, and it certainly looks that way. It also certainly might be, and there's 2 points I want to raise with that real quick. I don't want to linger too long on the argument about am I or am I not feeling manic right now. The reasons I might be would be something like just broke up, lots of life goes into that, and the brain is trying to recover, but then also learn. And if you stumble, how quickly can you get back up on your feet and keep going? And can you maintain momentum? And where does a pivot turn into slow down, you're going to crash or whatever? Because I'm suddenly taking things into different directions than I have in the past, and that just looks a certain way. And anytime there's a sharp, radical behavior shift, especially when someone has bipolar disorder, it's very natural. You want to be like, hey, is everything okay? Like, you're behaving a little strangely right now, and I am behaving a little strange. And I am not an expert in myself. I don't know. Not an expert in people, just a Yahoo. And I'm not going to make an argument, yes or no. Man, I'm not going to defend myself. I'm not going to be like, yes, I am, and I'm just doing my best, because that would be a state of insecurity. Because as I move forward, I have fair confidence. I was filming something, it didn't feel right, so I stopped filming it. And either that's mania and I'm listening to whimsy, I don't know, or it's cognizance, which is how I prefer to think of it. But I do have an argument to make. Whether I was manic or not manic, or acting out in heartbreak opposed to cognizance, I don't think that needs to have any bearing whatsoever on the creation of art, which we must keep in mind these videos qualify as. A temptation with the word manic would be to say, do not do the things you're doing, you're not thinking clearly. But in the event that I'm not thinking clearly, I don't want that to be a stopper for the art that I create, or whether or not I'm allowed to create art. And I think it's going to be nice for me, at least, to drop the word manic and bring in the word insane. Someone who's manic is shades of insane. If you're not thinking clearly, there might be manner of insanity that goes into that, or at least I think that word certainly qualifies me. Like, I can say that with full confidence. I think I'm very nuts, so I'm moving forward with that. I don't want to wait until I'm not sane to make videos. I want to be able to make more than that. I want to be more consistent than that. My moods are not consistent. I get excited about strange things. I'll make videos about what I'm excited about. And as I open up more about the things which excite me and let me express that, it's going to look certain ways, I think, that I don't always showcase. I don't know how to explain it any better than that. And I think, in short, that's just going to leave it for other people to suggest or think about, like, is he doing okay? Are we thinking clearly? And it's like, man, it doesn't matter if I'm thinking clearly or if I'm doing okay. I just want to do what it is that I'm doing. And so I'm doing what I'm doing. And that's fine. That's not a problem. I feel fine. So that's all I felt like saying there, I guess. Because the last few videos are a little different than how I normally make videos, but that's just kind of what I'm doing. So, that's what I'm doing. And it's fine. Like, it's fine. Like, it's actually super fine. I have in the past treated this channel so serious. I have treated myself so serious. I treat myself like I am Word Jesus. I'm just going to go into that just plain out, just straight out. I frequently think of myself on the inside as Word Jesus. That's not a mania thing to say. That's an insane thing to say. And I don't think it's an okay thing to say, which is why I don't ever say it. What I do say, though, is all of the words that go into it, all of the behind the scenes, I'll describe, and I have so many times what it is that I do. I like that someone said once I push I push emotions through the logic box and see what comes out the other side, which is something rather unique that you can do with words. Many people have received my words, used them to internalize principles or concepts or experiences into their own life to then be able to enact moving forward. My words and the way that I break down concepts or happenings or emotions have specifically helped people. Similarly, there are many times when I'm able to rephrase something that someone else explained at length because I was able to understand what they were going for, re-explain it using concise language, and therefore use my words to create an effect that they themselves were not able to create. These two things have been demonstrated. My words help people, and I'm able to concisely summarize or shift around to help with understanding what people are trying to say to then just kind of help that thing that they're trying to say become said. I do that. I have done that. That is something I enjoy doing. To me, it's a pretty simple thing to do just because I like learning, I like understanding, I like people, I like words. Like, I love doing what it is that has been proven of me that I can do. When I say all of that, that's fine. That's lovely. That works out. We're pretty happy with that. We explained something, I could demonstrate it more with comments or specific things people have said. Like, people have told me, like, what I do works. Like, it's great, right? It's great. I can explain that it works. I can explain how it works. We're doing great. But when I say something grand, and I'm saying it again, it feels gross, but I'm saying it. If I ever consider myself to be something crazy, like Word Jesus, we got problems there. I at least have problems there. Who do you think you are, Word Jesus? What? That's gross. That's super gross. And I say that, and then I want to start qualifying how it kind of works, though. I don't know. And then all I can do after I say the gross thing that I think is gross, at least, because who do you think you are? I don't know. I'll just go ahead and use all of my words to describe all of my concepts. Right now, there is one at play. I have a gross thing on the inside where sometimes I consider myself Word Jesus. I don't use that language inside of myself, but that's an unfavorable way that you could characterize the other things I have said and do believe and are true. I use words in a way other people are not able to express things that they would have wanted to be able to express. In a world where understanding is limited and words are muddled and ugly and incorrect, it seems like someone who's able to receive words, package them into a listenable format, receive what's trying to be said, and then just say it appropriately. Not even just better, just here's the idea we're trying to express. Let's express the idea. That's what I do. In the state of the world right now, that skill just seems like a useful skill. That's pretty much the entire argument I'm trying to make with whatever it is that this video is. If I say something simple like Word Jesus, that causes so many problems because people will unpack Word Jesus. And when you unpack the phrase Word Jesus, you don't come up with Phineas Former as a result. And because I think it's gross to be so egotistical and vocally so, that I am word Jesus or any grand language. I mean, talk about mania, for crying out loud. What I'm saying right now is extremely strange. The words of someone who might be insane. I've been trying to say that for a really long time. So now I'm just saying the things that an insane person would say to demonstrate, hey, you might be insane if word Jesus. So I struggle with using language which is too concise, because if you unpack it, it's going to be wrong. And what I mean when I say something gross like word Jesus is all of the things I've demonstrated with my capabilities of language, what I seek to achieve with it. I don't know. I'm just demonstrating weird language that I use, and the purpose of this particular video and the effect that these words are. There's a reason I'm saying any of this. I revealed something which I consider to be ugly, i.e. word Jesus. That's a terrible thing to say. I don't like that one bit. That's egotistical and just gross. I just barely, actively, right now, demonstrated what it's like to bear with honesty a gross part of self. I don't like my really egotistical, big head ideas because it's who do I think I am. I don't like thinking that big of myself because who do I think that I am? I don't feel like I'm more special than anyone else is, but I just spent an entire video talking about how special I am with wordcraft. I don't know. It's challenging. But I spend so much time disliking the element of ego that has to be part of word Jesus, and I think the whole thing with Jesus is supposed to be a lack of ego in the first place. I have no idea. I got no idea. No idea. I'm not a scholar, nor am I a theologist. That's not me. Nah. The thing is, I think I sublimate my ego the wrong way by just not talking about how big my head really is. I'll use grand language, but not that grand. But I still feel it on the inside. Whether or not I express something grand, like word Jesus, it's still in my head, kind of. That's not the language that I use, but I do on the inside feel like very special language boy. That I can say for absolute certainty. I feel like very special language boy. My calling, my gift has a unique place in this world at this time. Language boy. I feel like language boy. Maybe not word Jesus, but language boy. That's a favorable way to say word Jesus. Oh my god, what's wrong with me? Let's move on. As I demonstrate the absolute absurdity and insanity of the phrase word Jesus, I have to then deal with, or panic and suppose I'll deal with, any amount of fall off or fallout. Like, people might say, Phineas, you're not word Jesus. I have to be okay with that. That's an okay thing to say. It would probably actually be very humbling for people to say that I am not word Jesus. I feel like I need people to tell me that, and people don't know enough to be able to tell me that because I never proclaim, hey, by the way, I do feel like very special word boy. It's hard because I am special word boy because people have said, hey, Phineas, special words. I've seen the effect. People have told me their effect. There's some kind of special word boy energy. I don't know. It's hard for me to handle. Because I have a little trigger on the inside of me where if I get a little too egotistical, if I'm about to say something to broad company, which is gross, who do I think I am kind of territory, right? Like, if I reach a point like that, then I cut it off because that's not a person who I think is good to be. It's just a big personality that's like, who do you think you are? Special word boy. I always tell myself that I'm not special. But whether I talk about it or not doesn't change what it is on the inside. But just because I'm not talking about it, I can't move past it. And then I'm not being honest with myself, nor am I being honest with any of you. So allow this video to serve as absolute demonstration of one man speaking of something about himself that he very much does not like, which I think is ugly and insane to admit or think of yourself in the first place. I just said it so no one else has to. That's something that word Jesus would do. I just did it. I don't like it. But I said it so you don't have to. I am now going to, live, in real time, move forward with what it feels like to deal with having said something or bearing a part of soul, like something I don't normally say. I now have to deal with what people say in reaction to my insane language. I said something I don't like, I have to deal with that. You guys are gonna see more or less what it's like. If it works out, it's a demonstration that sometimes you can betray to others the ugly thing on the inside, and sometimes it works out okay. If it goes badly, it's an example of what might happen if you betray to others an ugly part of yourself and it goes poorly, and what I choose to do about it. Because having something on the inside that you don't talk about takes a lot of energy. You're always running that filter, am I too close to the word Jesus side of things? Or for me, there's other elements of ego. I think really highly of myself most of the time, and it causes problems because I don't know, man. I don't know. I just feel very special and unique all the time. I don't know. I think maybe actually I know a little bit. In the past, every time I express some of my grand ideas, they usually get, shot down a little bit because obviously my grand ideas, society is not kind to grand ideas. Society is kind to head in the sand, play games, ignore what you can, be miserable, because that's when you consume media and content and advertising exists and the world, everything's a nightmare right now. I forgot why I said that, but I just wanted to say that, apparently, that things are a nightmare right now. All right, I remember now that it's because the world is trained away from grand ideas, I guess, because everyone is supposed to be really beaten down and not have grand ideas. And when someone has a grand idea, like word Jesus, for crying out loud, I mean, you're supposed to step on that. You're supposed to say, no, don't do that. Probably I'm not supposed to, like, don't do that. Don't do what I'm doing. Right now, don't do what I'm doing. Do not make a video like this video. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's a dumb video to make. It's actually probably a damaging one. Because I treat this channel very precious. And I'm making a video which is very strange. I'm discussing word Jesus, for crying out loud. And I'm a VTubing furry, which I don't think has to matter, but something very weird is happening right now. And I usually treat this channel so preciously because I feel like word Jesus some of the time, and I only want to use the good words. By making a video of uncertainty where I confidently express something I'm wildly insecure about, I am putting in jeopardy my channel, which I've been trying to cultivate to use only the good words, because if I feel like word Jesus, then I only want to use the good words, so then I'm moderating myself away from my own words. Not only then is this a video where I'm demonstrating saying something ugly, and we'll all be able to see what happens when you say something ugly about yourself and how best to manage the fallout from that. We are seeing that in this exact video and what happens after. Also, we are seeing what it's like for a guy to put his dreams on the line in the interest of forward momentum. If I say something big, which might be offensive, and what I say I think can count as offensive both to people who are fans of Jesus, people who are fans of words, people who are fans of furries, people who are fans of me, people who are fans of humility. That's like 5 categories of people who might not like this video, including just like I want to linker the fans of me, right? Like people who have been watching me for 2 years. I'm now saying things a little bit more brazen than I ever have. I'm tired of not. I'm just tired of trying to moderate myself all the time. I'm done. No, 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 no. No more. All done. So I said something ugly. Raise a point of conversation within that. Is it actually ugly or not? Within that might come, are we insane or manic for doing something quite like this? And by doing this, we have demonstrated what it's like to use a platform you have and take it in a direction which might be uncertain, because for the first time, I'm trying to more genuinely express some of what it is that's on the inside, which does not ordinarily make it to this channel or any of my channels. I normally do not do what it is I am doing now. Once again, to drive it home, if this goes well, or if this goes poorly, I'm going to be dealing with the aftermath and making videos anyway, because I just like making videos. They're just going to be about slightly different things and slightly more unhinged, because I am quite unhinged on the inside. We're just going to kind of be honest about that and see what happens. You all get to see what happens. I'm interested to see what happens. If anything happens, and probably nothing will. Because at the core of it, right? Nothing's unusual. Making a video. I do that all the time. It's a hobby of mine. I like making videos. I've made videos before. Another video. What'd you do today? I made a video. Very typical thing for Phineas Former to say. Only extremely typical things are happening right now. This is the most typical thing. It's about something different than I usually talk about. But I am insulated because what I'm doing is normal to me. At the end of this, I go upstairs and hang out with my family, talk to a boy I like, and in general have a groovy time. Then tomorrow I'll edit what it is I have today, post it, and usually I would post things out on like a timeline or something like that. I'm playing with that too. Just making videos because I think it's fun. Hanging out with my family because I think it's wholesome and also fun. Playing games, which are fun in equal measure to, like, am I playing games as a distraction from the work, or do I just have downtime because the work requires downtime? Like, I don't know. Just living my life, man. Like, things are really regular. We are operating well within parameters. So if I make a video about something unhinged, sometimes I'm just unhinged. Which is a video about me, which is all that these videos ever were meant to be. We have a lot to consider. We have a lot to consider and think about after a video like this. What I think is going to happen is probably nothing. I don't think anything changes. I don't think I overreact or people underreact. I don't think it matters because it's just one guy, one voice on the internet in one place, one time. How could that possibly matter? It doesn't. It's fine. But I always treat it like it matters a ton. I always hold it back because I think it's ugly. Who do I think I am, right? Like, no, buddy, it doesn't matter. It's fine. Say whatever you want in your YouTube video. It's chill. Like, why would it not be? Why are you being so serious? Why are you being so precious? Just, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And whether there's a part of you on the inside that you like or don't like, whether you express it doesn't change that it's there. And that's fine too. It's not a big deal. And I think this video's long enough. I teased earlier that I would show you something strange, and the strange thing I think is probably going to wait for another time, because this video is exactly what it needs to be. I can't say any more than that, but that's just, this video is important for this video to be self-contained and done. It's time for that. And actually, I lied. If we're in this deep, we're going deeper. We're just going for it. We're going all in. Does that feel right? Does that feel right? How do I feel? Usually I cut this stuff out when I have to take a long pause. This one stays in though, because I actually have a big consideration. Everything I've been saying has to do with treating this channel very special. And my video is very special. My word's very special. And I want a video that's a little shorter, so it's a little bit more watchable. Why do I care if it's watchable? By all rights, I don't want this to be watchable because this is the video where I talked about word Jesus. But also, even just to buy into that, if a video is longer, like who knows what the algorithm does or whatever, and there's the argument if I'm word Jesus, you would want a video to do well, so you want the algorithm to play nice to the video, but if it's a video where you talk about word Jesus and you don't like that, you would want the algorithm not to notice the video, you would want people not to click on the video word Jesus. The temptation I had just now that you saw, I said it and then had to think about it for a while, is that I was going to end the video because the next thought is a non sequitur, and I'm not doing that after all. This is going to be a video then with very muddled results. Very muddled results, and it's not a good idea if I was testing things empirically, I should test these variables one at a time. Because the weird thing I said I was going to show you, and am actually going to show you upon further consideration, is something I filmed a few days ago that has to do with philosophy and the mechanisms of control. I don't know why I'm like this. The philosopher is Michel Foucault. That is my favorite philosopher. I'm going to break down and bastardize his general philosophy about how language is the thing which informs thought, which informs how people with money spend their money, which informs what policies come about, which informs how people are made to operate, i.e. be controlled. Michel Foucault is very big about control, and he believes that words are the method to do that. And for this, I'm going to leave something up to you. Before I show you the thing, which I think might be the second unhinged thing I've done in this video, we're knocking them out one at a time, baby. This is a loaded experience for all of us, and what happens next is up to you. My instinct is that so far, this video has been chunky, and it should stop and give room to breathe. And then the next video will be something different. After this concept, this video has had room to sit with all of the good people at home. That seems like the way to pay proper respect to my ideas, which sometimes are very chonky. But I'm going to let you decide. You can pause and walk away right now, because I teased what I'm going to show you, which is just, I think it's like 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes or so, of just non sequitur. Which is a second demonstration of things I'm not really comfortable talking about, so I never do. I believe everything. I believe everything. It's just one of the philosophies I agree with. But I don't talk about it because discussing the mechanisms of control is not something friendly to discuss. Why are you talking about controlling people? To me, that feels bad. But what? Are you going to use softer language? Influence? Advertisers influence people to buy things? Is that a manner of control? I don't know. So is influencing okay, but not control? Then what's the limit? Like, I don't know. I don't know. But because I don't talk about it, I've never really learned how I feel about it. And then because I can't talk about it, I can't dive into philosophies the way that I would like to be able to. It's all super duper messy. And in this video, I guess we're just knocking some of those out. So I might suggest we pause and walk away from the video if we need to give the video room to breathe so far, because I'm about to show the next 10, 15 minutes or whatever about just a philosopher, and how I suspect those ideas can tie into the world at large. A lot of people have been feeling very hopeless, but I think we can make progress in ways which are not hopeless. This would be using art For me, that's words and video, which has to do with Michel Foucault. What actually controls power in this world is art. That's Michel Foucault's philosophy. So now's a video where I talk and bastardize a little bit of that, and then we're going to come back and wrap up everything. Watch it right now if you're ready, or give it a pause and walk away and come back. I don't know. But here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings and hello. I do not know how or where this video slots in. I'm just going to give you a timeline of events of like where this video is being filmed, and then I'm just going to kind of talk for a little bit because I've recently been reminded by my friend group who is recently helping me remember things that are, you know, more than one war in the world and helping keep me a little bit more informed and just talking about things. Helped me remember my favorite philosopher is Michel Foucault. What some of those principles are, because it's stuff I've always believed, but I've just never known what to do with any of it. So I'm just going to talk for a little bit about that, but up first, where am I filming this in relation to the things I've been working on? What's going on is 2 days ago I filmed... No, yesterday? 2 days. Yeah, yesterday I filmed a long video where I was talking about wanting to put out positive content because the world has a lot of negative content in it, which is something I'm kind of only barely realizing, and I don't even know how. But that's kind of where I'm at. That video has not been posted yet. I barely posted the one where I was talking a little bit about my breakup and Phineas Squirrelmer. You know, that's new. That's new. He's not out yet right now. I don't know where this video comes out, when it does. I don't know anything about this. But it's time now, as they've all been talking about, like, world is pretty dark, and expect curfews soon, and whatever nonsense is going on, right? And curfews, of course, that's some element of control goes into that. You might say there's an element of safety as well. But by the time you need to be in bed by 8 o'clock, don't leave your house, that's an emblem of control. My favorite philosopher is Michel Foucault, who has a tremendous amount of things to say about control. Michel Foucault is my favorite philosopher. He talks about the panopticon is maybe how he's most known for. Also, an archaeology of sexuality, I think, is a book. I haven't read that one. But the panopticon goes like this. It's a structure, I think it's theoretical, or maybe it probably also exists now, but it's a prison that's a big circle. All of the cells is a big circle looking in, and there's one central tower in the center of the prison. You can't see into the tower, but from the tower, a guard person would be able to look into every cell all of the time. The purpose of the panopticon is people are under constant surveillance. You never know when you're being watched, if you're being watched, so you have to be on behavior all of the time. The reason it's so insidious is in time, you might not need to have a guard at all. Because people won't know if they're being watched, you don't have to watch anybody. That's the nature of the panopticon. And the evolution of it is, and I forgot exactly how Michel puts it together, but you'll get people starting to watch one another. Because if one person breaks the rule, everyone's punished, so then you've got people policing each other to behave, otherwise we'll all get in trouble, but no one's actually watching, or no one has to if it's the panopticon and you just don't know, but that's a way of control. I just think it's a neat idea. The philosophy of Foucault that I much more appreciate, though, is where he feels control actually comes from. And in the modern world, you would think that control comes from politicians and people who have money, and it certainly does. I mean, when you can buy politicians, it's people who have money that control everything, and they do anyway. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I need a hammock in my room. I have a hammock. I did before I moved, but I don't want to drill holes in my dad's basement, so I got a hammock stand, but I haven't put it together yet. But you better believe I bought that on Amazon, because where else am I going to buy a hammock stand? And I needed it in time to be able to sleep in my new place, so I gave money to the guy who has all of the money. That's just the world that we live in. I'm part of the problem, but the problem is bigger than me, all of that stuff, right? Like, the people who have the money to control the modern world, which is driven by money, those are the people in power. And I don't love getting political here, so I guess I am like a tiny bit. But when you got like fundraisers that are actually, it costs like $10,000 to go to the fundraiser, And then you get the rich people in with the politicians who are buying the like it's a nightmare, right? And those are the systems that run the world, you would think. What I enjoy with Michel Foucault's philosophy here is the step beyond that is the discourse which surrounds how decisions are made. Because the people in positions of power are informed by the culture to some extent. As an example, there's a culture, broadly speaking, where randomly shooting people in the street is a bad thing. There's people who don't like that, I'm included, and there's an amount of pushback when those things happen. Maybe not as much as you would like there to be, but that's I don't know. You know the principle. Or one that makes a little more sense to me is when gay marriage was legalized, that never would have really been a thing. But what happened was art and pieces of media started talking a little bit more about homosexuality. That opens up discourse about the idea of it. And once the casual discourse of the idea of homosexuality has entered into the lexicon, it becomes more of a casual thing, then that's when it starts affecting the world, and eventually we get gay marriage legalized, which is marvelous. We can expand this to a negative space very easily. I don't love to, but I think it's important to pay respect to the full circumstance. When discourse becomes rather casual about things like violence or oppressions or what have you, then that becomes more, ordinary for the people in power, because that's what the culture becomes. That's what discourse has become. It's a theory. It's just a theory, and it's poorly spoken, possibly misinterpreted from Michel Foucault is where I receive it from. And the idea just being that discourse is where power ultimately is. The type of language that's used to inform decisions by the people in power. And you've heard the whole thing, art imitates life, life imitates art, etc. And I don't think the discourse would just need to be a man on a mountain speaking, although that is something that I enjoy doing, is man on mountain, but the mountain is my parents' basement, and the speaking is a VTubing kitty cat. Like, that's... I don't know. I don't make the rules. I don't even know what's going on. But also, art, just art. Art enters into discourse, enters into the people. I think art is very important, and so does Michel Foucault, that art is what informs the discourse, which informs how people are controlled. And at the time of filming this, I'm working on art. This is a piece of art. It just is. In my art, I create discourse within myself, is all that I do. And my discourse, I choose to be a wholesome, even a little bit of a wholesome thing. Slightly positive. We're not asking for very much. And I don't make many declarations, and I'm not about to now. I don't know where I'm headed, where things are headed, what I'm talking about here, but I remembered how I slot into my personal world, and then also how I slot into a philosophy that I thoroughly enjoy, but never really attached to much of anything. Because the discourse I engage in helps to shape my mind, and it helps to control me. You might call it burying your head in the sand to engage in alternate discourse than what is typical of a society. But I don't really think so. Maybe. I don't know. But what I do know is my internal world. All of my perceptions is my world. And I fill it with the things I choose to fill it with. And I can't control other people. I wouldn't want to. That's absolute garbage. I don't want that responsibility. I certainly can't make other people hear what I say, and I don't think I would want that responsibility either, because I say garbage. I'm a nonsense creature. I don't want that power either. Just a kitty cat boy. Like, we're chilling. But I deeply prefer it when my internal discourse is one of slightly more wholesome. I'm in a privileged position to be able to feel that fairly easily. I rolled the lottery, absolutely. Like, I won. on character creation. Reasonably tall, broad chest, white American male. I don't have any problems. I'm the kind of guy that fails upwards. I won. I hate saying that, but I just kind of did. And whether I say it or not doesn't make it true or not. Like that's what we're looking at here. So I personally can get quite away with calling myself unaffected when I ignore broad discourse. You know, I get pulled over, I have a conversation, I don't get shot. Speaking plainly, that's what goes on. And while I can be fine in my personal world, even in the middle of things that are very bad, I also feel like I can broadcast that. And I like to broadcast myself anyway, but if I'm in a position of just like, hey guys, one thing is going kind of okay. Just one thing. That's discourse. That is a small amount of discourse. And discourse is how culture is impacted. That's how life is affected, which is how decisions are made by people in power, is a philosophy that I agree with. And I suppose it felt important, as my friends just now were reminding me that there's a lot of things going on in the world which are negative, that I choose to fight back in the best way that I know how, which is not protesting or posting online and arguing or whatever. Like, I don't know what people do. I have my head in the sand. Well, what I do is talk. And that's what I choose to do. And it's interesting that I've been choosing to do it anyway. I talk all of the time, but recognizing either the things that I talk about are very important, but then also just recognizing my position and the position that my worlds have in the world around me actively. For a while, I wanted to broadcast just myself because I felt very alone. I did not want to be alone, so I just broadcasted me. Just me. See me, please. I did not want to be alone. And it worked. It worked. There's people around now who are very pleased about Phineas, and I'm very pleased about all of the people, and I'm also pleased about Phineas, so we all are enjoying Phineas. Things are going pretty good. I broadcasted me, and it worked, and I don't really need to broadcast me anymore. I'm chill. But I love broadcasting, and so I remember now that there's a place for that. A broadcast is a piece of media. Media informs culture and discourse. And if my internal world can be okay, and I can broadcast that, that seems really important to do now more than ever. And basically, I'm figuring things out. The fire is... I've always had a lot of fire and passion, but it has a little bit more direction now than I think it ever has. And that's stuff that's been coming to me, and I wanted to make a video about it because I had the energy, I had the power, I have the time, I have the equipment. I edited a video, and I have to wait because one video I had recently was a chonker, and so I had to let it breathe before you make another video. But then that's okay, and then I'm making this video, but then I've got other plans too about other things I'm working on because discourse, man. Like, if I can broadcast and do like an okay job, like that's all that we're looking for. You know, whatever. I don't know. That's just what I feel like doing anyway. I don't even need to have an agenda. It's like, well, look, you guys do whatever you want to do. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And what I want to do is, you know, one place, one guy, one thing, just one, me, things are going kind of okay. I don't think enough people are saying that, and I'm choosing to say that. I recognize that there's a market for it because no one else seems to be doing that, or I'm sure some people are. I don't know. Head in my sand, etc. But realizing what I'm doing, kind of how it slots into things, what my capabilities are, and to me it feels like nonsense because I don't know. But I don't know. So that's what's up though. And I wanted to talk a little bit about a philosophy I've always loved. I've recognized how it does attach to me and how it's applicable in the present day. And I wanted... God damn it, I don't make very many declarations, but I guess I'm about to. What I'm doing matters. It fundamentally does. Adding a voice... Just one. middle of nowhere of the internet corner guy, Furry VTuber? Alright, whatever. It doesn't matter, because I'm just going to be here doing the best that I can personally. That's what this looks like, and recognizing that it's also part of the world. I don't know, it did something to me, and I had some spare time today, and so I thought, you know what, I'll film a thing, especially because I'm a little fired up, because I love Michel Foucault, and it's like, Michel, we're doing it, man, we're doing it together. Just kidding, we're not doing it together. I don't have a quarter as many words. He's a French philosopher, and his sentences are paragraphs, because whoever, like, oh wow, it's good stuff, it's good stuff. I love it, but you have to read a paragraph a few times and then think about it for a few days. It's so lovely. So Michel Foucault, give it a read. Discipline and Punishment, I think, is the Panopticon one, and that's my favorite. And then something else that I recommend a lot is a podcast, Philosophize This? Stephen West, I think. But he talks a lot about different philosophers and gives you little tidbits of how it goes. So that's just fun food for thought there. And so I'm gonna go though, because I'm hanging out with some buddies. I took a break so I could do this, but I've got like 2 hours left before I do some more family time. We're gonna watch TV. I have a show I watch with Dad. We're gonna do that with dinner. We're gonna watch TV together, and then with my mom, we have a different show I'm really excited about. And then maybe I'll play some games with my brother too. So we'll see. But I've got 2 hours before all of that begins. So I'm gonna go keep hanging out with my friends and be like a kitty cat and not film things though. Because I film things all the time, which turns into an echo chamber inside my head, and I need new ideas, and also I need to conference my ideas with other people, which I'm not doing presently. I decided to go away and film this instead of talk about this to people, but it's more so that I chose to broadcast this, because this felt like something I wanted more people to be able to hear than only 3 people laying down on a virtual bed. So that's just a decision that I made. But I'm gonna go keep being a kitty cat, because I like that. And for one guy, just one, things are going pretty good. And that's what we're doing. I'm gonna walk out of frame though. And so it's time for that. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are having a good day. And I hope that by the time this comes out, I don't know where it slots into things, but I hope my videos have had room to breathe, and that I've had room to breathe, because I don't always feel like I have room to breathe, because there's so much going on in my head all the time, but I'm breathing now, and that's fun. So I'm gonna go keep breathing and hang out with my buddies, and you guys keep doing what you're doing too. If you have the opportunity to hang out with your buddies and breathe, I recommend it. Bye-bye. And thank you for watching that video, which I feel a little bit sheepish towards, which is the second time I've said something that I feel sheepish towards in this video alone. I want the experience. What on? I want the experience of being genuine on camera, including keeping little moments like that. Like, it's fine. Why am I being so precious with these videos or my style of presentation? Like, it's fine. It's totally fine. But yeah, anyway, about the video we just saw. I'll probably talk more about those concepts later. This video is definitely long enough at this point. But I do want to point out that I talked twice now about things that I was uncomfortable talking about, confronted a fear of mine twice, brought up many other subject matters, including bipolar disorder, mania, and insanity. For crying out loud, the video started that way. I'm not worried about that. It's fine. I can't handle how fine it is. It's fine. Like, whatever. It's chill. Like, we're good. We're golden. Not a big deal. Sometimes people are crazy. Whether I am or not. I'm not crazy. I'm the only one who's not crazy. Like, whatever. It's chill. I'm just making a video here. I'm just having some fun. I was told once that my energy moves at 1,000,000 miles an hour, which is how when I get excited about something, sometimes might say something like, oh, are you being manic right now about your squirrel? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know, maybe. I just think the idea is really funny. But if I let myself go full speed at the thing I'm excited about, And if all that you people see are things I'm excited about, it's going to look like Phineas Former is very unhinged and very excited all of the time and going a million miles an hour and looking manic as he does so. It's going to look like that. But, you know, nowadays I am an insane person, but then also tired of hiding it in the one place that he said he was always going to be able to feel free to express himself as himself, which is something that I am doing right now. And it is something that I did do. So there we go. What happened? Let's do another one. I'm on a roll, baby. All right. All right, I'm here for it. All right. Let's go again. I don't know why I'm like this. I really don't. I'm just tired of trying to be anything else. We're going to kind of go back to word Jesus and further cement my space in the realm of the insane. Or I might move forward with special word boy. Either one of those works. Whichever one I use, I invite you to put in the other one instead. Special word boy is more forgiving. We might start there, I don't know. But if I am special word boy and or word Jesus, there's ways I would like to proceed even while keeping in mind my philosophies, which I agree with, which come from Michel Foucault. Here's something I could see moving forward. I'm curious what all of you think. That means that this very long video is now officially 3 parts. I once again invite you on your end to pause if you want to digest parts 1 and 2, and then come back to the 3rd part where I'm going again. I'm dialing in right now that I'm handling things more different and trying to express more of myself, more plainly, more honestly, and to show even just myself that it doesn't matter. You can do that. You can do that. People say that you can do that. I'm doing that now. Let's find out what happens as a man does that for the 3rd time in a single video. If you're ready, let's move on. If not, pause and come back. Or don't come back if I've rubbed you the wrong way. I rub myself the wrong way all the time. Don't take that out of context. Let's move on. Barring the grandiose language of word Jesus or special word boy, if we just go back to the way I've decided to define these things, which is man who says words that people have received to better their lives, with evidence, with effect, that has happened. That string of words is a correct string of words. I believe it would be meaningful to have more access to more of these plain styles of words, the same breakdown of multiple concepts that maybe I struggle with myself, things I'm ashamed of, and to go through what it is to be a human, and just to break things down a little bit more, to use my words more frequently and more consistently. If there's a person out there, as it works, I don't know why I keep trying to qualify it. People get something out of what I do, and to some people, it's possible that it means a lot. It's possible that people receive a tremendous amount from what I do. For these people, I would like to have a regular place and time. That sounds nice to me. Sorry guys, I can't do Dungeons & Dragons on Saturdays at 10 o'clock. I don't know who does that. Actually, a lot of people, the really long Dungeons & Dragons sessions. But sorry guys, I have something. Phineas Former is talking. Or that's when I've uploaded a video. That seems nice for people who get something from what I do, is if I do it at the same time, at the same place. That seems nice for people who like what it is that I have to say. It just seems nice. That's all. I've toyed with that in the past with live streaming, not with a very specific schedule, and not about content, which is honest, fundamentally. To some way, it was dishonest because I never said some of the things that I've said in this video. Just there's ways I hold myself back because I am insecure in certain ways, and I'm changing that now because it doesn't matter. Like, what am I afraid of? It's fine. It's fine. It's super duper chill. But what I'm trying to say is, as I move forward as someone whose words have impact, I have ideas of what that might look like. It can look like live streams, which is fine. My personal skill level, we'd have to figure that out a little bit because my thoughts are fragile. I just barely lost my train of thought a little bit. I don't normally keep pauses in, but I guess I kept that one in because I had to remember where I was. That's what it looks like. I do that a lot when I'm filming. So if I did something live, you would also get all of those pauses like the one just now that normally I would cut out of this video. But also, if there's chat, if there's fun stream interactions and stuff, I would lose my place all the time. And that is what happened when I was trying really hard to be a streamer, is I can only go so deep on a certain subject because if there's going to be interruptions, I can't handle that. So it would have to be a manner of live stream where there's an understanding. There is no chat engagement. There is no fun effect. It might pop up on screen or something. I don't know. But we'd have to move forward with that mutual understanding if that's how I decided to proceed. I don't like doing that because that's not growth. That's not what a streamer does. That's not engagement. How do you keep someone involved? It's like, I don't know. People talk about growing channels. If I was worried about growing a channel, I would not stream with a specific intent that I don't talk or engage with anybody. That's a curious decision for a live stream, which is largely why I don't make live streams of this ilk. Also, I normally don't record things of this ilk because ordinarily I do not let myself discuss the manner of ilk, which we deal with today. Ilk. It's a good word. You should use it. As for everything else, though, I'm in power to do that. I have a Twitch channel. I have the ability with words. I have confidence in my streaming style, my video style, confidence with my words. When I say something gross, here's how we come back from it. Here's how we can double down, triple down. Bipolar disorder, insanity, possibly I'm just manic. Also, none of that matters because I am ultimately just me, and I don't want to be shy about me. I don't want to feel like there's things I can't say or ways I can't behave because I can't trust the way that I'm processing information because I am emotionally compromised, because I am always to some degree emotionally compromised. So either I move forward or don't and then wonder why I feel so stagnant. It's fine. It doesn't matter. It's fine. The reason I don't bring this up ever so specifically is because it feels better. Oh, this is the second one. This is the second one that I really don't like saying. This video is so loaded, man. This video is so loaded. This is nuts. We've got so many fears right now that we're done with right now. This is nuts. But what I just said, using a lot of words for, I don't say. Ever. There's a reason for that. It's related to word Jesus, or special word boy, where, as it's been demonstrated that my words have a positive impact on people, Twitch is a wonderful way, or any streaming service, to get your words out. But, as with videos, I only want to use the good words, so I always moderate the words that I do use, which means I never have the energy to say as many words as I would because so much energy goes into the moderation of those words. Else, if what's on my mind is one of the things that don't make it past the filter, then you have a long period without any Phineas Farmer content because I'm not letting myself make content about the school of thought which I myself do not allow myself to experience or express. I am now going to very plainly discuss elements of ego and what could be a mechanism of control? Maybe? I don't know for sure because I haven't expressed this one before because I don't let myself. Let's talk. For a time, my idea behind doing live streams was to stream in the VR chat category and be a very fun little cute boy who sways around and little ditzy head because that's just something that people stream in VR chat. If I did that and became good at streaming in VR chat, or one of my other categories or whatever, playing a game maybe, but if I got good at streaming, that could funnel into a YouTube video or the YouTube channel that I have where I could talk about more heavy or serious things. So if I have a watchable Twitch, it hooks them into Phineas Former, who then actually expresses the ideas and the things which I want to share, but I wanted something that was watchable first to kind of hook more people. That's a thought that I had for a while. That idea tainted me, still kind of does, stopped me from streaming wholeheartedly because I wanted my streams to be good so then it could get people on board with my words, which are used to effect. I had kind of a weird plan about streaming and the direction of growth because there is a world where that could make sense, maybe? I don't know. That's just something that came into my head when I was trying to dictate out what my future would look like. As it turns out, you can't dictate that because I'm happier than I have been in many years, and I am also somewhere I never thought I would be even 2 months ago. So I'm really done trying to map out where I'm going or what it is that I'm trying to do, which is neither here nor there. That's just some of what inspires this video, I guess. But anytime someone's being dishonest, you can pick up on that. And if you have a channel like Twitch where I'm just streaming floofy fun, being a fun VR chat kitty cat, but a YouTube channel where I'm more unhinged, you might say, or at least just talking about things that are more real, then it's like, which one is it? Which Phineas are you? Why are you so different? You're keeping these parts of you so separate. And there's some kind of subterfuge there. The reason for subterfuge there could be if I was trying to engineer something. Get an audience from something that's watchable and super vapid to grow the part of your enterprise which does matter, which is the words I have used to make people's lives better. Wrong way to phrase it. The words which people have received and brought into themselves to make them with other people. The internet brought it together. I just used my words. Other people received them. I didn't make anyone do anything, ever. I can't ever do that. That's not the right language to use because that's incorrect. That's just an incorrect process. I don't make anything come about, but I can make myself make videos which are honest, and then just out into the world it goes. That I can do. I could do something similar with live streaming. It would just have to be specific, and it's how it comes about. Earlier, I talked about jeopardizing my YouTube channel by being too honest too fast, and now I theorize jeopardizing what could be a Twitch presence by going too honest too fast also. And I brought up a subterfuge involved, which I guess I have to tidy that up real quick. Because if people know that's what's happening, then that's gross. You had a plan this whole time? I hate that. So I was trying to make myself do that because it seemed like a good plan when I was trying to engineer everything and try and decide my future and decide what the future would look like, because sometimes being word Jesus goes to your head because sometimes you're special word boy, which is sometimes confirmed based on the words that you use and the way that you use them. I don't know how to handle that with grace. So I would stop myself from streaming because I had an angle which didn't feel good. I don't want to lie to people about what it is that I'm doing, but it seemed like too good of a plan for my big, massive ego head, ass caught, stuck up head. I talked recently about burying my head in the sand. Sometimes I bury my head inside my butt. Like, guys, come on. It's ridiculous. Like, well, I don't even know. And some of the idea is, oh, God damn it. Okay, give me a sec. I often, if always, I always, actually, I always express my complex ideas in really abstract and piecemeal ways. So by the end of an idea, you have kind of a full image of how things connect. If you present an idea linearly, then a human mind will try to autocomplete based on the pattern of information it's received so far. And someone will autocomplete an image of my idea, which is different than my idea. So if I present things in a very scattered way, kind of like a you can't predict where he's going if he doesn't know where he's going kind of thing. But my thoughts are always disjointed. I break things apart all of the time to disrupt any pattern of understanding of my idea. So then at the end, the idea comes full circle and you can see how the pieces link together. It's just that you link the pieces at the end instead of trying to go from the beginning as one unbroken chain. I want to be honest here, that is not a way I fathom. That's not an intellectual thing. That's just how my brain naturally operates. But when I speak the way that I speak, that is the effect, whether I intend it or not. It doesn't make sense because I have things all over the place, and then right at the end, it makes sense. Wow, what do you know? That's how I present everything that I am all of the time ever. That's all of my conversations. That's how I clean. When I clean my room, it's a nightmare up until the very end when suddenly it's done. That's just how my head works. That's how my conversations work. That's some of what I think the mechanism is of how I operate. Everything everywhere, and then at the end, it makes sense. That's how I naturally want my plans in life to go also. Everything ever, all at a time. No one knows what he's doing. I have 5 YouTube channels. I have 4. I have 4 YouTube channels, which is 3 too many. 2 too many? 1 too many? Too many. I've got too many YouTube channels, and I stream on Twitch, but none of it's super consistent or cohesive. And then I'm learning videos, and I'm doing other things too. And then I'm moving to 2,000 miles away. And Phineas does really strange things. If any of those strange things were building towards one central idea, it makes sense that all of those pieces would then come together to create, I don't know, this. Exactly this. All of the things that I've learned, everything I've been working towards, this is what it looks like. It's happening now. There's elements of subterfuge that go into that. If you think about it in a really negative way, but I was working on different pieces of myself that I knew I was going to need when I tried to bring myself together. Because when I did bring myself together, I wanted to be able to be here now, and I can stream if that's something that we all decide is something that would be good under the new terms and conditions, as I know a stream would have to be in order to maintain the integrity of who it is that I am now, which consists of the pieces I've been building out very doggedly for several years now, because I knew when I decide to come together within myself, what are pieces I'm going to want. I've been working on those pieces individually, which is video craft, relationship focus, learning streaming, learning family, learning myself, because at a certain point I would come together and I would want these pieces, so I developed the pieces first in kind of a disjointed way so that it could come together at the end, even though it looked like a mess the whole time. That's how I operate in speech. It's how I operate in cleaning a room. That's how I operate in life. I think that's kind of it. I think that's kind of it. Hopefully? Hopefully. I think I got it, most of it, at least. Hopefully. Maybe. We'll see. I'll tidy up what it was I was trying to say about streaming, at least. Because I stopped myself when it was going to a really yucky, like just the wrong direction. And I didn't know why it was the wrong direction, but I just stopped myself from it. And good reason, because probably it was a really stupid idea. Because I'm an extremely stupid person, and when I come up with ideas, they're like, some of my ideas work in a frictionless vacuum, and that's not the world. So I don't even know why I'm saying that right now. But yeah, streaming just, no good as I was trying to do it. And some of that might be because it wasn't community focused. And for a while, I was trying to figure out how to do that. But right now, there's the idea of a community focus of a guy says words at the same place and same time, specifically because there's people who like his words and would like to be able to receive them at the same place and the same time, and the same style of words, etc. I don't know, it's all just ideas I'm thinking about. And I had a really weird angle when I tried doing that earlier this year. Learned enough about streaming, but then stopped myself when I caught my motives were just not right. Because my motive was one of treating my creative enterprise with a manner of subterfuge by doing all of it disjointed so I could bring it together at the end. Be like, oh wow, actually suddenly it was about Phineas being honest and open with himself the whole time. And it's what I was always angling towards, because it is what I've always been angling towards, kind of by accident, because that's just how I operate my life. I try to make videos about my life. I'm trying to be creative. That's just being natural to who and how I do all of the things that I do in all of my life ever. Ah. Huh. That feels weird. It feels like streaming with a hidden agenda, and some of how I fell off streaming is I don't know, but then I was streaming Resonite, which is another argument entirely, but I don't necessarily even really think so. It does branch into, though, just doing this from within virtual reality, because if there are people who like my words and would like to receive them at the same place and time, there's also, I'm here right now in Resonite. This is a private world, but I'm in virtual reality. There's a desktop mode. People can and have logged in for little community meets already to talk. We had one philosophy club. It went pretty good. Sometimes we've watched movies, not often, but sometimes. There's no reason that we couldn't just meet up when I'm saying words. If people like my words and they want to be able to receive them at the same place and time, there's a virtual place and time. Right now, the time can be whenever. And I've never been just so plain with that because of all sorts of reasons. But that's just a theory. That's a theory. It's just, technically, that's a possible thing to do. That's possible. In theory. It, easier said than done, but it's a theory. It's possible. It really is. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that the reason I'm bringing this up now is because I foresee, in my position as special word boy, if we decide to accept that, or at the very least, a person who uses words that have been received to the betterment of the individual lives who receive those words, if I engage with the idea, hey guys, how about I speak those words at the same time and place, that we could extend it into, here's where the place is. It's possible. It's possible. But when I'm talking about live streaming, I can't broach that if I'm not honest about having had angles when I was starting it. There was an idea, a really strange idea, because I come up with strange ideas and they're dumb. The things that I try to do go poorly because I'm very stupid. I think there's probably more to be said there in some way, in some form, after I've thought more about it and even know what it was I was trying to say right now. But this was a video where I wanted to try and be honest. And if I'm talking about words, I want to be honest about some of my feelings about words, which is parts 1 and 2. And in parts 3, there's a theory about how these proceedings can proceed. And through all of it, I'm trying to demonstrate more about myself, some of the things I am ashamed about or don't like about myself, and then there's insanity in all of this, and the video is very long in the first place. I'm trying to be honest through all of it. I don't know if it's working or not. I don't know. But that's something that I'm trying out, and it's something that I just did, I guess. And I do, by the way, absolutely reserve the right to never make another video again if I decide not to never do a live stream again if I decide not to leave my Discord if I want to. I'm not going to, but I could. Like, I reserve all of that right. Like, I need to be able to have that in order to help stop myself from believing that I'm Special Word Boy. Because Special Word Boy, if he actually does what he's really good at doing, could look specific. And I don't know that I measure up to the specificity that I can imagine. It's time for another one. Hopefully we can keep this one short and more packaged together. I lost it with the streaming thing. That was something I think I needed to say. I don't know why. I genuinely don't know why. But that felt like something I needed to say. So I did. But I don't know why. This one's a little bit more specific because I've talked about where I've been and where I'm at now. And now it's time to talk about one of the futures I foresee. And I think being honest about that foresight ahead of time might feel much better than being honest retroactively. Hey, by the way, in the past, I was behaving in a certain way. Here's what those feelings were. I just wasn't honest about them at the time. That feels bad. I don't like that. So I'm moving forward now with here's something I see in my mind. My head just sees this. And I want to be honest about it because suspecting that there's a grander plan, I don't know. I have weird feelings about that. And also, if I speak it, then it feels like I have less license to change it later on. And I don't want people to think I'm a flake, so I don't say things that I think might be flaky, so then I never declare what it is that I think might happen. I don't know. I don't talk a lot about the future in the way I'm about to talk about it now. But if it comes to pass, the whole Special Word Boy, place, time, VR, not VR, whatever, if any of that does come to pass, and it very well might not, there's a few things that might come to look like, and I don't know how I'm going to grapple with any of that. I don't think I'm ready for any of that. And the future that I see holds me back from doing the things that I naturally want to do, because they lead to a place I don't think I'm ready for. My temptation is to do them anyway and just suffer quietly on the inside, so I can appear very big and bold and brave and strong. But none of that matters. So I've been holding myself back for a long time. Here's a little bit of why. Here's something that I do foresee that I don't know how to handle. Let's talk. Standard disclaimer, we're entering into part 4. Apparently this video has part 4. It has 4 parts. Pause it if you want to. If not, let's roll, baby. Here's a problem I invent in my head all the time by thinking really too hard about things like Special Word Boy and what it means as I combat my ego and my own sense of mania. Can I trust myself because I'm emotionally compromised? I don't know. I don't know any of it, but here's a thought which holds me back and is on my mind pretty much all the time. I can't move into the future and bring people with me into that future if I'm not honest about where I think it might go. If we do this, there's it's going to look like something, and let me talk about it. For a lot of technical reasons I'm not going to get into, I filmed this in Resonite instead of VRChat. I will get into it, it'll take a second, that's it. The reason is this little system, which I programmed with the help of my friend Fuzzy. These up here are a bunch of words, and this creates timestamps. When I'm making a video, this doesn't work right now, for some reason it's broken. But when I'm making a video and I need to switch into, I need to talk about my relationship for a little bit, which I did, that was fish. So I would pull up this little overlay, and I would just press the fish button, and that just records a quick little timestamp. It syncs up, makes a funny noise, and every time you click a button, it color codes this little cylinder, so the same color is always for the same subject matter. That makes it really easy to edit in the future, so I can see what I'm working on as I'm editing a monolithic recording session most of the time. But I just pull this up and I say, I'm going to talk about this real quick, and then that's when you get a broken out section. And this is just a tool I will use for videocraft. And you just make this from within Resonite. There's a little in-between script you run to write things to your computer. But you can just make these things, and this kind of tool is very useful for me. And there's other tools also. There's just a lot of reasons technically that I want to be able to make these inside of the application Resonite, which I use a lot. I'm actually pretty pleased with this, because this is yet another idea I don't think I've ever actually properly expressed, because it also includes elements of ego, or at least being a large personality, being honest with who you are. That's not something I've ever wanted to own up to, because I've never wanted to actually believe myself that I was special. Like, who do I think I am? Special word boy over here? So I just try to avoid things which are special, which kind of is, this is related. Because a lot of people have a lot of belief in the little platform of Resonite. It's itty-bitty right now. There's 184 people online, which is kind of typical. Sometimes they're doing personal projects, sometimes they're hanging out. And a lot of people in Resonite want to be able to hang out. There's just not a lot going on. It's a very small town. There's absolutely implications, possibly really big ones, where if I say words, time and place is Resonite, here's the time and place, it's also going to be streamed, and those streams are going to chop into videos, specifically because I have a tool that helps me chop down long recording sessions into specific videos. That's a data flow that brings people from videos to live streams to my words inside of Resonite to Resonite, this virtual platform. And if you're inside of a virtual world, bitch, there are people hanging out with you in the virtual world. It could, if you had a very big head that runs away from you and has bipolar disorder and might be manic and might be emotionally compromised and probably is, or if not, I contend, and like I always will, some manner of insane. If you do all of these things and host what would effectively be regular meetups where you're talking just man on mountain talks about thing, super classic Greek amphitheater over here, man. That's gonna be one of the only staple activities inside of Resonite. There's karaoke on Mondays. There's campfire event on Fridays. Meditation runs twice a day, but not too many people go to that. There's a fitness group that meets several times throughout the week, but again, it's not very popular. But Resonite's not very popular. If any particular world has 40 people in it, that's a really big world, and those events only happen rarely. Any manner of regularly hosted event with people in it, holy cow. Holy cow, that's crazy. Resonite has a new thing. And I don't know if I want to be one of Resonite's things. I do, but I also try and limit myself from being or feeling too special or having too big of an ego. Like, oh, wow, you want to be one of Resonite's big things? Like, who do you think you are? Who do I think I am to be one of Resonite's things? That's not me. I always hold myself back from that kind of thing. I don't want that station. But only a few people host regular events here. I'm suggesting regular events. If we move forward with this whole chain of logic, there could be regular events inside of a really cool virtual platform, and I would be the one spearheading it. I have a hard enough time when my words help people. I will have a very hard time if people inside of the virtual platform I call home start treating me different. I don't know. I just see that. And I see myself having a problem with that and letting myself run away with it the way that I run away with everything. So I stop myself from. It's just hard. I don't know. It's hard. And I want to be honest about that. And I mean, by all rights, it would be a good thing. Because if people meet up in Resonite to hear my words, which they enjoy, and then more people in Resonite want to hang out with people in Resonite, so then there's more people that they're exposed to. People in Resonite are kind of cool. So if people online who like my words also just get exposed to new ideas, and then they've got people to hang out with when they might not have had people to hang out with. Because first of all, you're meeting in a virtual space at the same time and place, sharing in a mutual activity, which is my words, in a small town where there are other things going on and other people to meet who also could come and hang out, because I just like that. It's a cool platform and I would want other people to be invited. Like, sure, why not? Some of it might be fear that if I do poorly by the end of it, then that would be a poor element of Resonance. It's a very small town. I want to be a good part of it. But I also... This is hard to talk about, and I don't know why, so I'm keeping this pause in. But I'm not going to be able to explore this particular topic very thoroughly right now, I don't think. I'm just emotional for no reason, for actually no reason right now. So I'm going to talk about it the best that I can. It won't be adequate. It will be incomplete language, because there's something here that affects me more than I know how to express. So I'm just going to have to give it my best shot, I guess. Here we go. The nearest I can fathom, and I don't think it's correct at all, but I'm just kind of going to go for it because I don't have time to be precious with my words right now. It's a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. Oh, let's just go for it. Here's pieces. I've spent a lot of time in life not feeling very special, and I'm talking a whole bunch about being special word boy, for crying out loud, and finally allowing myself to be that, to own up to that. My words have an effect on people, and that's a good thing. So far, it's been a good effect. I see ways of making that grow, which is just same time, same place, guys. Being more honest opens up more ability to talk about more things more regularly. It's all stuff I'm working on, and I have never let myself feel special in the past. And I see a special thing. What I talked about with Resonate just now is special, because people could come together. A lot of people find me and are isolated. There's one confirmed case. Someone had never heard two confirmed cases. So they had never heard anyone say anything in the way that I do, and the way that I speak reflected how they've spoken in their heads for their entire life. And twice it's been confirmed that they no longer felt alone in this world because of me and the words I spoke. I see a world where not only can people identify with me and the things that I say, as has been confirmed at least twice, but if we meet at the same place and the same time, then through other people's identification with me, other people could come to identify with one another. That's not parasociality. That's just good old-fashioned not being alone. A lot of people feel pretty lonely. And I see an effect. Same time, same place, you're not going to feel alone. I go to meditation pretty regularly. I have friends there. I have felt unalone. It's awesome. I just more of that, that's fantastic. And I don't know why I make it out to be such a big deal. Maybe safe to say that for my entire life, I've treated myself as something not special. And it is a special thing to be able to bring people together and help them feel less alone. Not just because I spoke and they hear me and they feel less alone because they have videos that I said, but because they were able to meet people who were like-minded, because I brought people together. That is a very special thing to do. It's a good thing to do. So if I did the special thing to do, which many people are not empowered to do, I would be one of the few who can like help bring people together, and possibly the only one who could help bring people together around my ideas because I'm nuts. If I don't do what I propose, no one can do what I propose, and the good things I imagine will never be able to come to pass. But if I did turn out to be something special, by allowing myself to be special word boy, and meet up with people at the same time, same place inside of Resonite to be special word boy, there's a lot of problems. A lot of problems with everything I'm saying right now, which I acknowledge. I acknowledge all of it. This is all conjecture, all... I don't know. I don't know. It's all just theory right now. But if I did become something special and wasn't careful with it or whatever, then an entire identity, I have to rethink. I have an identity as someone who doesn't consider himself to be special, as someone who's not special. I spend a lot of time trying not to be special. It doesn't work. I'm special anyway, man. I'm special anyway. I can't help it. That's not a good thing. Maybe it is. I don't know. It's not necessarily a good thing. But if I start to feel it and bring it into me, then I need to discard an entire 33 year history of trying not to be special because of just how I grew up, just how my brain works. I don't know. So I have to reconfront everything. And that's kind of a daunting thing to do. Which is specifically to say that my fear of a possible outcome of a possible event which could only come about under theoretical circumstances has been holding me back. I think I missed one layer in there. But in short, the leap I just spoke of, future, the whole Resonate thing that I talked about, right? Wanting to be special. Everything I just barely said is, I think, 5 degrees removed from reality. Maybe 4. Maybe only 4 degrees. And that would be not as bad. I am pretty sure it's more than 3. It might be 5. I think it's 5. It might be 4 degrees removed from reality. I don't know how many degrees removed from reality you guys like your thoughts to be. I usually go for 2. 1 or 2. That's where you get the realm of like abstractions. That's really fun. Where we talk about a concept, but you're talking about a thing, but the concept, that's like a layer removed or whatever, right? 5 layers removed from reality. There's a chance somewhere in there I got something wrong. Maybe I would never be that special. Maybe I was always that special. Maybe no one would want to meet up at the same place, same time. Maybe no one would get maybe I panic. Maybe I coward. Maybe I be coward and I delete everything and I leave the Discord server and I nuke the online presence. That's not going to happen. I'm too stupid. I don't know. I don't know. Whatsoever. But I have a massive fear of some sort. I got emotional about something I couldn't even express, which is up to 5 degrees removed from reality, which is pretty stupid, I think. I've heard it said that the thing I just said is a stupid thing. I'm not convinced either way, but I wanted to make sure everyone knew that I've heard it said that what I just said is really stupid. And because it's really stupid, at least I've heard that it's stupid, I don't say it. Because you're not supposed to say stupid things. It doesn't feel good. It feels bad when someone calls you stupid. It doesn't feel good when I call myself stupid, but also not enough people are calling me stupid, and I don't think that's right to say. I don't know. But in any case, I don't be honest most of the time with a lot of these sorts of things that are on in my head, because when I express a concern which is up to 5 degrees removed from reality, people typically look at me like I'm stupid. Of course, I use that language for myself. So if we proceed, however we proceed, however I proceed, because it's me. I do what I do. Like, whatever, right? We would have to proceed in the eye of Phineas is afraid. There is a fear. A doom. An impending doom. I'll qualify it a little bit more. We're going all in. Balls to the walls, baby. All in. There's people I look up to on this platform. And I apparently am not confident enough to be able to talk more about that. Safe to say in non-specifics that what I propose is to be unabashedly myself in a place where I have friends right now, and they would be friends who are seeing something that I'm doing actively. Myself, my heart, my spirit, my soul, what I'm choosing to do, the words I say, my little followers and my little fold, Phineas crazy, and just doing it, then the people I look up to would know who I am, and that frightens me. I think that's what I was trying really hard not to say earlier with the whole Resonate thing, is if things did get even a little popular, and I mean a little, 30 people at a time, that would be a massive turnout, and that would be huge. That would be huge. But however many, like, regular events don't happen, and any regular event would be noticed, and I have friends who would want to support me in my regular event, so I would be trying to be open and honest and express my soul to my friends. And historically, when I express my soul to people, they call me stupid. And I really want these people to like me. There's not another way to say that. There's not another way to say that. I've never felt like I've fit in before. I've always had a hard time making friends online, and not just in VR, but this application hits in a very specific way. So with my 5 degrees removed of reality, and I think at this point it's even 6 degrees removed, an ultimate fear that I have is, if everything comes to pass, then people in Resonite might think I'm stupid. I think that actually holds me back. Oh, God. And I was honest about that. So this video, I think, has to be done. It was loaded. Holy cow. We're going to trace back through all of it. Am I manic? Possibly. I would probably prefer to call myself fed up with being anything other than myself, and so long as I broke apart because breakup relationship, 30 years of envisioning of whatever, you know, like, I fell apart. Now's an excellent time to reconstruct, and I have been working on a lot of pieces of self that I've wanted to be able to incorporate, but it was never time because I never had all the pieces that I knew I was going to want. So having had fallen apart just now, it's awesome to just, let's rebuild. Let's bring it all in together. Now's the time. Why not? Now's the time. I fell apart anyway, so here we go. Here we go. Might as well. Why not? That just happens to look drastic, which is fine. So, I mean, I addressed that, and bear in mind, I still might just be a little manic. This might fade. I might lose my confidence. I might give up. This is all conjecture. I might walk away from this and be like, oh, wow, that was... I don't know. I'm just kind of doing what I want to do. And this is what I want to do right now, and I might not want to do this later on. I don't know. I might not have any follow-through on this one. I don't know. I got no clue. I talked about my weird philosophy thing. That was a strange part of this video, and that felt like it was 1,000 years ago. What a long experience we had. And with that, I was trying to demonstrate that I feel like words have power. I would want to yield to them responsibly, and I feel like now, at this time of life, this part of the world, whatever, now's an awesome time to start utilizing words for good, because a lot of people utilize words for bad, and I choose to fight back in the way that I know how. I express that, and I'm shy about that. I was honest about where I've been in the past creatively, in particular with streaming. Oh, gosh. Which I had to be honest about before I could conjecture moving forward by reintroducing streaming as something that I do. Streaming was not always what it was I described it as. It began as that, it began something different, it was Resonite for a little bit, but that was something I once treated it with. So when thinking about the near immediate future, I wanted to be honest about that, and so I was. And then I babbled, I suppose, about something I don't even fully understand. Mainly the application where I choose to present my ideas, some of why and what some of my fears are about that, because again, that's like not the near immediate future really, that's like the future, which is where we get like so many degrees removed from reality. But I needed to be honest about that too, because I think in the future all the time, and I try to operate more in the present day, which is how videos like this can even come to pass and come to exist in the first place. But where my head's going to be focused on that, I need to be also honest about my very distant concerns, which people call me stupid when I do express. So you're allowed to say that too. You're allowed to say that too. But whether or not I express something doesn't change how I feel about it on the inside. It is a part of me that is a concern that I have, a pretty big one, because I just want these people to think that I'm cool. And I think that has to be it. I think it's got to be it. You just have an insane guy. I don't know if I've blocked this out. I don't know if I have timestamps. I don't know what any of this is. I don't know who I am. Are you kidding me? I'm doing the best I can, but also I'm new to this. I've just recently fell apart. 33, living in my parents' basement, VTubing, and talking about stuff like this. Really strange. Like, more strange than ever, I think. I think that's actually probably just true. I'm figuring out who I am live. I was never able to talk about something like this, and I just talked about so many instances of things like this. So many fears confronted right now. I don't know what the effect of it is. Probably there's no effect of it. Probably I edit this tomorrow, or I edit this for the next week. I don't know how long it's going to take. Post it, forget about it, wait for comments, because every now and then I worry, like, oh man, do other people think that I'm manic when my attitudes have been looking a lot like the behaviors of a manic person, and I have a history of being emotionally unstable in the first place? Are people going to think I'm unstable? And then I have to wait for people to say something, and I'm like, oh, this YouTube comment thought I was unstable, or friends will reach out, and not like a ton, and usually it's all just supportive, which I love. And I don't even think anyone's said, like, hey, you might want to slow down or whatever. Like, I'm worried about all those things. So now I'm just going to either not be worried about them, or I'm going to be worried, but I'll try not to, because it's just, it happens if it happens. If it doesn't happen, then why was I worried about it, etc. So I'll try not to waste energy doing any of that. But I certainly have a lot on my mind, as though you couldn't tell. And that's okay. That is super duper okay. Because we have to remember, it's all chill, it's all groovy. Because this is just a video. It's a long one, but I've made long videos before, and I always like them. So I made one, because it felt right to do. And anytime I try to explain away what feels right to do, I mess it up, and I lose the heart of it, because it doesn't matter why it's the right thing to do. I was drawn to it. I wasn't doing anything else, and it felt like the right thing to do. It felt like the right time. Because as I reconstruct myself, there's more pieces of me than I've had access to, because I've been building out pieces of me that I haven't been ready to incorporate, and now's as good a time as any, and that just kind of looks a little bit different, and I'm unlocking myself into being able to say more things, and I used this monolithic video to do that. In which case, this has been Phineas Former being himself. Do whatever you want with it. Maybe don't do anything with it, because that's what I'm going to do with it. Nothing. Just gonna make this video and post it and not be super worried about it because it doesn't matter. It's fine. Just a guy using some words. And that's not a problem. Why would it be a problem? It's just a couple words. So that's me in a few words. Time to go. Time to walk out of frame. I don't know what comes up next, but I certainly hope that you have a good day. If you're one of the people, by the way, who does, because this whole video was even based on conjecture, because I have 2 confirmed cases that there are people who feel fundamentally less alone because of my words. It's happened twice that I know of. And the entire video was based on the conjecture that there's more than 2 people. Because I'm certain that there is more than 2 people, because if 2 people said something, there's more people who haven't said anything. And if you qualify, if you're one of those people, I don't know. Hi. Hi. That's it. I just want to say hi, specifically to you. I was gonna walk out of frame this way, but there's a wall, so I have to change. I have to change how I'm facing. Where am I facing? Where's my play space? One of the other things I like about this application is I could put a play space down on the floor, so I could just see a square of like where I'm walking. That just seems nice. I just got lost. I bumped into a wall when I was trying to walk out of frame. I think now it should be safe. Nope, that's still the wall. Oh god, this is a travesty. This is a travesty. See, this is what I'm talking about. No one in Resonite will think I'm cool. No one in Resonite will think that I'm cool. Can I walk out of frame? Is it safe? Oh, cool. Okay, awesome. So, so we have that. We have that for when it is time to walk out of frame. For now, though, hi to the people who receive a lot from my videos, but don't say anything or participate. I'm sure you're out there, because there's 2 of you who have participated and spoken of it. And you don't have to. You don't have to speak. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. But I theorize that you're there, and hello. That's all I got for you. That's all I got for you. That's all I got is hello. There's nothing else that I would want to say, so I'll just say hello. Hello. That's it. Okay, so I'm gonna walk out of frame. Hopefully, hello. Hello. Okay. Bye.